Everyone's been to McDonald's. It's safe, familiar, predictable. But sometimes what happens under those golden arches leaves blood on the floor and bodies in the freezer. These are three real crimes that happened at McDonald's, and none of them were ever supposed to make the news. Story 1. The freezer door never opened again. In 2014, a McDonald's in Columbia, Mississippi opened late. The first employee arrived at 5:03 a.m., noticed the alarm panel wasn't set, and the lights in the back were already on. That's when she heard the freezer running. She went to check it and saw something behind the door window. Pressed against the glass was a hand. Inside was the night manager, 45-year-old Harold Simmons, curled up, frozen, eyes wide open, still wearing his headset. Police said it was an accident, that he went inside, the door closed, and the safety latch failed. But here's the problem. Those latches are designed to never fail. And inside the freezer, investigators found something scratched into the metal floor. Help me, it's not an accident. There were no signs of forced entry, no security footage from 3:11 a.m. to 3:36 a.m., just static. But 3 weeks later, corporate sent in a private technician. He said the freezer's emergency latch had been unscrewed from the inside. The bolts were missing. They ruled it suicide. But the staff didn't believe it. Harold had worked there 17 years, always clocked out on time, never went near the freezer alone. To this day, the new staff says that freezer opens by itself at night, and when it does, they hear knocking from the inside. Story 2. The drive-through murder nobody heard. In 2018, a 22-year-old McDonald's employee named Jalen was working the overnight shift. He was alone at the window. It was his first week on the job. At 1:24 a.m., a black Chrysler pulled up. The window rolled down. The driver didn't say a word. Jalen leaned forward and asked for their order. That's when it happened. A single shot, through the window, straight into his throat. He dropped instantly. The car sat there for 3 full minutes before reversing and driving off. Here's what's weird. Nobody in the kitchen heard the shot. Nobody saw it. It wasn't until 1:36 a.m. that another customer pulled up, saw Jalen collapsed, and called 911. The bullet came from a custom .22 pistol modified to be almost silent. No shell casing was found. Police looked into Jalen's past and found nothing. No criminal record, no enemies, no gang ties. But his mom told reporters something strange. 2 days before the shooting, Jalen had mentioned a weird man who kept coming through the drive-thru ordering food. Then just staring. He never said a word. That man was never identified. And the car? Never seen again. Story 3. The closing shift disappearance. In 2006, a closing shift in Dayton, Ohio, ended with one of the most bizarre disappearances in fast food history. Her name was Lizzie Hart, 19 years old, worked fries and back cash. She closed alone that night. Manager had left early. One customer came in after hours, forced the door before she could lock it. He was never seen leaving. But here's what's messed up. When morning staff came in, everything was in place. No cash missing, no mess, no blood. But Lizzie's phone was still charging, her jacket still on the hook, and her car still parked outside. Police assumed she left with someone voluntarily until they checked the security footage again. This time they watched frame by frame and saw something else. 47 minutes of black screen. When the video comes back, Lizzie is gone. And there's one thing sitting on the counter that wasn't there before. A McDonald's Happy Meal box with a sticky note. It read, "She's in a better place now." Inside the box was a piece of duct tape and a chunk of hair. They never found Lizzie. No ransom, no suspects, no leads. McDonald's is where people go for comfort, cheap food, quick service, and nothing unexpected. But behind the fryer, inside the freezer, under the red and yellow lights, some stories never leave the building, and some victims never get to clock out.